And that's the time we're living in. It's called apocalypse. And the word apocalypse means the revealing of all that has been hidden. The good, the bad, and the ugly, also called lifting of the veil of ignorance. And so everybody's stuff is coming up to be healed. If we want to change the world, as Michael Jackson says, I'm going to look at the man in the mirror. And so we need to look at ourselves directly, without judgment, without shame, without guilt. But to change the collective consciousness, we really do have to start with ourselves. Socrates, a two-word teaching, complete teaching in 2 words, know thyself. The kingdom of God is within. We are powerful, creative beings, and we come from the kingdom of God and we radiate it out into the world. If we are one, if we are the instruments of God, the hands, the feet, the eyes, the ears of God, then how can there be an enemy? The concept of enemy becomes absurd at that point, because it would be like if this finger and this finger wanted to go to war with each other, and they're trying to destroy each other. Well, that would be absurd. That's insanity.
Yeah, I usually prepare some questions to ask my amazing guests, but today, as I was guided the last period of my life, I don't prepare any questions, and I even didn't prepare my hair. So if it's messy, forgive me. And you accept me the way I am. Today we have 2 beautiful souls, 2 volunteer souls that came to this planet Earth, amazing souls that deliver to us, to humanity, high quality informations, high quality updates. They are here to support you, to help you, to guide you in your journey of personal growth, spiritual growth. And I have the honor to have 3 days of retreat with the one and only Sal Rachele.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you to come to Romania. How was your trip to Romania?
Very nice. I came from Serbia, where I did 3 weeks of intensive workshops.
3 weeks. How long is Sal going to be here in Romania? Liviu, the other person. Amazing soul. He's my brother from another mother. He's so kind. He's so humble. He's so honest.
Careful, it'll go to his head.
I'm just keeping my head aligned with my soul.
So the question was, how long is Sal going to stay here in Romania?
We booked him for 2 weeks, and we have 3 powerful workshops. Today is the last day. And then we will have Master's Timeline Healing next week. So it's a powerful moment for all of us. Thank you, Sal, for being here with us. This is so important. We had 2 great days. We got a lot from it. People are happy to be here with us.
We had lots of participants, over 150 participants, physically and online. And it was nice to see that people these days in Romania, they are awakening, they are getting awakening more and more, and they want to get connected to truth or to other aspects of truth. So how was your feeling? How did you feel the public?
It's a very good group. I always appreciate the more difficult questions. Those are the ones we want to explore deeply. Even though we have a limited amount of time to go into some of the questions, I still appreciate the more difficult ones. And there were some thoughtful questions asked.
I wanted to ask you a question about the energy of Romania, because some people that contact me, they say Romania has a low level of energy. Of course, your perception of the energy of the things around you, even your country, is based on your own perception. But I just want to ask you, how do you feel the energy of?
Well, I've been to about 35 countries, and I would have to put Romania in the top 3 or 4 in terms of energy. People are animated, they're alive, they're emotional, and that's sometimes not always a good thing. Especially on the highways. I make jokes about Romanian drivers being some of the more aggressive, and And the other day I was reminded that there are drivers here that almost want to almost hit the oncoming car, like somehow it gives them a thrill or something. But overall, I like places that have high energy, and maybe high energy isn't the right word because every country has its problems, and certainly Romania is no stranger to corruption and things like that. Certainly the U.S. is no stranger to corruption. So, but I like Romania, and I like the people, and the mountains here are beautiful. Brașov is my favorite city in Romania. And Bucharest would be if I could see it over the tops of all the automobiles that are on the sidewalks and in the everywhere you go. There's cars. Pretty soon they'll start stacking them on top of one another. But yes, my overall impression of Romania is that it is a very lively and energetic place, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. I'm really glad to hear that we are here in Romania. Also, that you are looking to this video, you have to be, or you must be proud of your country and this beautiful country. I'm also from Iran. I came from Iran 11 years ago, and I see the beauty of this country and nice people that are here. And this is our opportunity. This is our responsibility to rise up our vibration and connect to our soul. The 3-day event, Liviu, that we had here with Sal Rachele. What was the topic of the event, and what topics did you and Sal cover on this 3-day event?
Well, I think we kind of touched the concept of bringing the higher self here in the physical reality. So we have 3 topics to explore. First, the first topic was levels of enlightenment. The second one was moving from duality, from polarity to unity and neutrality. And today we have a very important and I think it will be intense subject regarding enlightened relationships. So I think this is the way we bring the soul energy into the world, into our relationships. So we live in a time of opportunity. We have the opportunity to grow, holistic growth. So it is important for us to be supportive and to give support to the people to take this opportunity and to make it a reality for them, to improve their lives, to, you know, if you improve yourself, then you are a lighthouse for the others. So it is important for us to be supportive, to be in service to others, to go beyond selfish needs. So I think this is an overview of our work.
Yeah, the 3-day workshop we had here.
Yeah.
You talk about Lighthouse. Sal, how can we as human, as light workers, be a lighthouse and at the same time have a life full of, let's say, manifestation and materializing, because we are in the year of 2024, it's Dragon year, yes, and we know that in this year we have the power, we have the support to materialize even in material world, and at the same time we can be and we must be a spiritual and light worker. How do we?
Well, we have to start with balance. And balance means being in the world but not of the world, to quote Jesus. We're here to fully participate in the human experiment, and it is kind of an experiment, but at the same time recognize that this is not our ultimate reality. We are vast, creative, spiritual beings, way bigger than our little human experience, which doesn't diminish our human experience. It doesn't make it somehow less than, but from a higher perspective, there's so much more than just this little human self. And we call the little human self the personality or the ego. The word personality comes from persona, which means mask. This is a mask we are wearing over our real self or higher self, as Liviu indicated. And so we have to understand we're not here to kill the ego, we're not here to slay the ego or push it down or pretend it doesn't exist, our little self. We're here to align our little self with our bigger self. And so the lighthouse is a good analogy or metaphor, actually, because we live life from the inside out when we're connected to our spiritual higher self. The kingdom of God is within. We are powerful, creative beings, and we come from the kingdom of God and we radiate it out into the world. The ego does just the opposite. It's trying to get things from the world because it believes it's lacking. And the only things we really need from the world are whatever we need to function in a human body, maybe some food and shelter and a few things like that. But we think we need recognition, approval, agreement from others or worship from others, or, depending on what the human drama is that we're looking at. And that's one of the big problems on this planet is we have those who want to control other human beings because they don't think they're going to get what they want unless they control other human beings. I call that false power. And so we have this so-called power elite, which to me is false power. Because if I have the kingdom of God within me, why would I need to control another human being? The idea of controlling somebody is meaningless if everything is within. And so our task is to recognize that everything is within. And we do that through meditation, timeline healing, hypnotherapy, past life regression, various tools that help us access this vast reservoir of knowledge and wisdom that we have within us.
Amazing. 3 practical things you can teach us or tell us or recommend us to do to stay on the, let's say, balance?
Well, one is to pay attention to our interaction with others. Today is about enlightened relationships. And that means being open and honest and learning about things like nonviolent communication, for example, and how to mirror to another person, how to see God in that other person, which sounds really nice, but to actually feel from our center of being, to feel the energies of another person. And to let go of our judgments. It's really tempting, especially during election season, to fall into judgment of, oh, I hate this candidate, I hate this member of parliament, I hate this president. And we need to pull back from that and say, wait a minute, we're all human beings. Some of us are behaving badly. We don't want to pretend that everything is love and light on planet Earth. Obviously, that's not the case. There's war, poverty, misery, and suffering, but we don't drown in it. We don't focus constantly on war, poverty, misery, and suffering. We accept the fact that we're living in a realm where there's war, poverty, misery, and suffering, and then we shine our light directly into the problems. And so we're not trying to escape and go into some higher realm because we can't stand living on planet Earth. That doesn't work. But we also need to step back, use what the Buddha would call compassionate detachment. We care about people, we feel their suffering, but who we are is beyond the suffering.
Exactly. Powerful, powerful. I still have tons of questions. I want to involve also Liviu, because he is the official representative of Sal Rachele here in Romania. 3 high quality that always, since I met Liviu and in person I met Sal Rachele, always impacted me. I don't have words to say. It's modesty, And in Romanian we say smerenie, bun simț, și modestie. These three qualities are really, and to find them and translate them in English, it's okay. So, I want to ask Liviu, how can you have these three qualities at the same time and have success in professional life and have, let's say, a life full of blessing, money and rich, and you have your own material stuff? Because people think when you become spiritual guy, you forget the material world. How you keep the balance?
I think your kids remind you.
Well, first of all, we are all one, and I think this is very, very important to always remember that we are all one and we are all equal in the eyes of God. So if we are extension of God, so we see us God, you know, we see our brothers and sisters, even though they behave badly, as Sal said, they are still beautiful children of God that are stuck in duality. So we are all participating in the same game, as Sal said, the same experiment. So, you know, the compassionate detachment is a very important part of it. There are differences between the spiritual and material, but also the material is an extension of the spiritual. So it's no separation. Being present, paying attention, being vigilant, knowing what I want to achieve. It's are the ingredients to staying in balance. I'm not always in balance, but I'm always paying attention to what's happening to my energy when I interact with the outer world, with quotes, outer world. And if I'm doing that, I can detect when I'm balanced and when I slip a little bit. You know, sometimes you slip on the stairs, they're slippery, but when you're focused, when you're paying attention, you can find the way to balance yourself, to re-put yourself on the balance point, as I can say.
Thank you. Maybe this is a personal question. I don't know. Let's see if Sal Rachele wants to share with us. I know and I've heard, I'm not there. Of course, he is doing more than for over 48 years. You said that you invested.
Well, I started officially on my path in about 1976.
Wow.
So
more than 48 years he invested in himself, in his personal growth and spiritual growth. And I've heard that when you rise up your vibration, of course, all your powers, your soul powers become more and more powerful. You empower yourself and your power of materializing and manifestation becomes bigger. So, but on the other hand, when I look at Sal, when I see him and I interact with him, I see him so humble. I see him so modest. It's a big gap in our mind, especially the people that are in society. You know, when you are rich, you wear with high quality clothes, you just go with high quality cars, Lamborghini, Tesla, whatever. But he's so humble. You're so humble and so... Okay, my question is, how rich you are at the material stuff? Because
I'm a very wealthy person inwardly, and that's where it counts. Whatever size the bank account is really very, very much secondary to that. And I feel like I have everything that I truly desire in terms of materiality. Of course, there's always going to be a few glitches here and there. I rarely fly first class. To me, it's rather silly to pay thousands of extra euros just for a little bit bigger seat room and a second glass of wine. So it's more of a practical thing. It's not that I couldn't afford to fly first class. I was taught to be very kind of frugal with money. I don't like to waste food. I don't like to be overcharged in restaurants, But on the other hand, if something is really important to me, then I find the resources to engage in that important activity or product or service. So I would say the inner state of prosperity is way more important than how many zeros are after the numbers in the bank account. And I'm not in this what is George Carlin called it, the club, the big club, the 1%, with their jets and their yachts and all that. I'm not anywhere near that level of outer prosperity, and I have no real desire to be at that level of outer prosperity. If I did have that kind of prosperity, I would find intentional communities to support and projects such as zero-point energy research and things like that I would be putting that money into. So, I'm not saying all billionaires are bad or anything like that. Some of them are a rather strange enigma, like Elon Musk, for example. He seems to be kind of half light and half dark, One day he's trying to hook everybody up and make them into machines, and the next day he wants free speech, And so he's kind of one of these ones that doesn't fit easily into a box. I like people that don't fit easily into a box. But then you have people like, I shouldn't be mentioning too many names, but Mark Zuckerberg, who is more or less the epitome of the corrupted, selfish billionaire. And then, of course, Jeff Bezos, he's had to pull a little bit more money out of his pocket for his employees. We know the stories about how he treated his employees in the early days, trying to squeeze every last dollar out of them. So we have to create a new type of wealth that's based on inner prosperity. The kingdom of God within has all of the treasures of heaven within us, not this physical body, but the true within, the within of the superconscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the spirit, the soul, the oversoul, the monad. There's lots of levels to. That's where our true prosperity is, not in pieces of paper with bridges on them or presidents' faces on them. That's just a convenient way of trading goods and services. Money is neutral, and people put it up on a pedestal and they worship it in this society. I think we all know that. I'm not saying anything revelatory here.
Exactly. Thank you. I told you, Sal, and also Liviu, you attracted in your life what you are. Liviu attracted Sal to his life. You attracted also, you choose the right person. I had the chance to meet Liviu for some more times here in Romania. And again, I see humbleness, modesty in his personality, and he's very, very extremely honest, authentic. He has nothing to hide. His interior is the same as his exterior, and these are the quality of a soul and a person who rise up his vibration over fear. When you're courageous to be you don't have any fear to express yourself. Your inside and your outside is the same.
Well, when you are yourself, you don't have the need to convince the other person of who you are, because you are who you are, and you just live the life, There's nothing to convince, there's nothing to demonstrate, even though you are doing that. But impersonally, not directly, not trying to get appreciation from outside of you,
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore the exterior for you, because as our speech again we have here on the board, we have achieving neutrality. Neutrality, based on the table of consciousness from Dr. David Hawkins, is higher than courage. When you pass the level of courage, you reach the level of neutrality, and you don't care anymore what other people think or say about you, because you are you.
Yeah, and it's important also to realize that all the subtle and obvious ways that we fall into duality or polarity. I mentioned the political one where you hate this candidate and you love this candidate, and I stand with this country, and this kind of thing. To be able to step back from that and to accurately see both sides of a conflict, such as two countries at war or whatever. And so I think it's very important that we catch ourselves when we start to polarize, when we start to set up an invisible enemy or a visible enemy, as the case may be. And the whole idea of an enemy is a false idea, because if we are one, if we are the instruments of God, the hands, the feet, the eyes, the ears of God, then how can there be an enemy? The concept of enemy becomes absurd at that point, because it would be like if this finger and this finger wanted to go to war with each other, and they're trying to destroy each other. Well, that would be absurd. That's insanity. And yet that's what we're doing, because we fail to see that we are like the fingers on the body of God.
Something that I forget to do today is at the beginning of the video, you see, I let the energy flow. I didn't ask Sal Rachele to present himself for those who don't know who he is. And it's interesting why you don't know, because he has written more than 7 books, and I know that you are working on your 8th, or you published it already?
No, it's not ready yet.
Okay, he's working on the book number 8, so he has written 7 books on, and you did all of them based on channeling, yes?
Well, my higher self and my spirit guides were collaborators in the production of these books.
Who do you do channeling with?
My personal spirit guide, Leah, came to me in 1989 in Sedona, Arizona. And it wasn't for about another 13 years that I actually started publicly channeling, because I was seeing what I considered to be a lot of bad channeling out there. Unfortunately, I guess I'm going to use the word bad. It sounds like a judgment. But for example, the Galactic Federation is going to beam themselves into the corporate boardrooms and scare the corporations into doing the right thing. That's complete poppycock, complete nonsense. And so those were the kind of channelings that I didn't want to come anywhere near me. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to let ego and distortions get in the way of the channeled messages. And so that's why I waited until around 2002. Actually, 2004 was when I really started to put things out into the world. And so it's been about 20 years. And I work with Leah, my personal spirit guide. I work with the Arcturians, a group of 5 or 6 beings that work together in what they call a group soul complex. Many of you may be familiar with the Law of One material. They're a group soul complex as well. And then I work with Lord Sananda, the Oversoul of Jesus. But the group that I work with primarily in the workshops is the founders. They are at the highest level of vibration of the various spirit guides that I work with. So in the workshops, we work with the founders, although today we're also going to have Leah, because she's the relationship specialist. And so we'll have a little bit of variety in the spirit guides today. But all of my spirit guides collaborate with my own higher self. I don't go into trance and let them take over or anything like that. It's a collaborative venture, as if, Liviu and I were presenting a seminar together, only in this case, they're not in physical form. So that's the way I approach spirit guides.
How did you learn to do channeling for those people who want to get connected to their higher self and they don't know how can I get connected to my higher self? I want to know him or her.
So I was walking along in Sedona and I heard a voice in my head, and it was a very calm, clear voice, and it was reminding me of who Leah was, basically my twin soul in the higher dimensions. And so all the memories started coming back to me of having been with her in times past, in other dimensions, other time frames. And she resides in the upper dimensions of Venus, because it's what they call a midway station. It's kind of a stepping off point to helping Earth. When the higher beings come in, they have to step down their vibration, much like a step down transformer. And so So they have to come from another dimension and then telepathically communicate through human beings. Obviously, there are some physical beings that interact with humanity as well, but most of them are not as evolved as the guides who come through telepathically. So there's some that are highly evolved technologically, but not so highly evolved spiritually. So you kind of have to put them to the test, and they don't mind being put to the test. They enjoy being asked, difficult questions. They remind all of us to use discernment to really investigate what they're saying. The messenger is not so important, it's the message that's important. So what are the beings saying? If you're getting ready to channel, what are your guides saying? Are they saying what higher beings would say, which is that, number one, they look across to us. They do not look down on us. Oh, those poor little humans down there on that prison planet. No. That's not how the higher beings view us. They see us as magnificent spiritual beings, equal to them in theory, okay. Maybe in reality, our awareness hasn't yet expanded. We haven't, as I like to call it, we haven't activated all of the levels of our being. So give it the test. If you're planning to channel or you hear voices in your head, maybe they've identified themselves and you say, do I really want to channel Lord Sananda? I keep hearing him coming to me or whatever. Put it to the test. There's two things that have to happen. You need to be a clear channel and the entity needs to be clear. And if either of those are not met, it's not a good channeling. Pure and simple. If the receiver, you, are full of fear, you're going to interpret the message in a fearful way. When the founders come in and say that half of humanity is likely to leave the earth due to immune system failure, that can be a very scary piece of information if you're not centered within yourself and willing to say, well, what does that really mean? And look at it from a higher perspective rather than, oh my God, half the people are going to die, or something like that. And so you have to listen to yourself and do your inner work and put the entity to the test. Because you could be a clear channel, but if you're not channeling a clear entity, it's bad channeling. So there are beings out there who claim to be somebody they're not. There's some fake Lord Sanandas running around the planet. Or at least coming through channels. And so you have to really use discernment. Is this something a higher being would actually say? How do I feel when I hear the message? Do I feel expanded? Do I feel calm and peaceful? Or do I feel nervous and agitated and full of judgment? So please put it to the test.
Yes, and I think the filter to test it is the vibration and the way you feel. When you feel good and then you say positive, it's a positive entity. When you feel low vibrations based on, again, the table of consciousness, judgment, fearful, guilty, yes, shame, these are low vibration, and I think this is a way that you can.
It is. So whether it's channeled or from any teacher, you should put it to the test, and also it should be practical. The airy-fairy, fluffy stuff sounds nice, and maybe you get a nice little high from it, but then you go back to your same old SOS, same old stuff. And so if it hasn't really made a difference in your practical life, then it has limited value. And, maybe occasionally you just want something that makes you feel good. That's fine. But don't stop there. Go deeper. Find something that has practical value, where we have step-by-step processes we do in this work to help people get in touch with the layers of the subconscious, for example, which are vitally important. Of course, all of psychology is based on layers of the subconscious. And it's absolutely essential that we understand these layers. We understand our fears, our buried guilt if we have it. anger that we've suppressed and pushed down. So emotional clearing is absolutely essential. That's the one area that a lot of teachers and channels fail at. They just kind of stuff their emotions down and say everything's love and light, and then pretty soon they're not experiencing love and light, and they say, well, what happened? Well, it's obvious what happened. You pushed down your negativity and now it's coming to the surface. And that's the time we're living in. It's called apocalypse. And the word apocalypse means the revealing of all that has been hidden. The good, the bad, and the ugly, also called lifting of the veil of ignorance. And so everybody's stuff is coming up to be healed. Well, almost everybody anyway. Maybe it is everybody because that's the time we're living in. But some people are doing it gracefully. Oh, there's my issues coming up. I'm gonna love myself as I feel these emotions coming out of my subconscious or whatever it is. So it's called purification and cleansing for a reason. It's not usually a completely enjoyable experience for most souls to get in touch with their dirty laundry, But that's part of the time we're living in. So it's vitally important that we do the inner work on ourselves.
Thank you. For those who want to know, and I want the people who watch to this video know more about you. So you did this job and this mission on planet Earth as a soul for more than 48 years. How many countries you have been to?
About 35.
35 countries. And your books are translated in how many languages?
Well, half a dozen, maybe more. I'd have to think about it. Maybe 10 languages.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not sure exactly.
It shows that how Sal doesn't care about material stuff. He doesn't count, how much money I make.
Well, I do have some guidelines. I do have a minimum to spend the time and money to travel. So things like that.
That's why I love him. And I love these beautiful souls. They invested so much time, energy, and money in their personal growth, in their spiritual growth. And they're at this level. They are famous people in the world. And they're so humble. They keep themselves humble and modest. Liviu, how do you serve Romanian people with the amazing work that Sal Rachele does in the world? How do you serve Romanian?
I serve people in Romania. We are doing workshops when Sal is here. We are doing private sessions. We are doing professional trainings like timeline healing, which is the most powerful therapy that I encountered. So we also, when Sal is not here, we also have a platform for people to engage their own process, where they receive guidance, they receive the information, they receive practical exercises to know themselves better, to know themselves multidimensionally. So there's a lot to talk about the work that we are doing. We are a very vast and complex being, and we need help sometimes to get in touch with what Sal said, our layers of negativity. This is hard work. It's not easy to accept that you are the one that created the drama, When you work with yourself, when you go within, when you cultivate the frequency of your knowledge, then you are putting it in your field. So if you exist in a realm, that frequency will serve. Just like that.
Yeah, I will share with you the website that Liviu has put on worldwide to be accessible for all of us. It's Evolva Holistic University, which is holisticuniversity.evolva.org. And I see here that you put lots of Sal Rachele's courses, yes?
Yes.
How can people get these courses?
It's very easy. You get on the website, and there are simple steps to access our programs. If you want help, we have programs, sustained, guided programs. When people come together, they receive the information and they practice the information, cultivating the frequency. Or if you are, if you don't need to get into a program, you can go and just buy a workshop. It's very easy. They are video recorded. They are also translated in Romanian, and it's easy.
So you put the workshops also on your platform on this website. The people who want to buy
Yes.
them or access them, they can do it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What is your soul message for people, for young people, for those who see this video in this period of time?
Yeah, I think the biggest message is that we need to do the inner work, because if we want to change the world, as Michael Jackson says, I'm going to look at the man in the mirror. And so we need to look at ourselves directly, without judgment, without shame, without guilt. You know, we're in human bodies. They're by their nature, they're imperfect. 50 trillion cells all working together. A few cells are going to misfire or malfunction. You know, so we need to forgive ourselves when something malfunctions in our human life, and then keep moving forward to develop these, or activate, as I like to call it, these levels of awareness. We have 12 levels. And most of us have only activated 3 or 4, maybe 5 levels of our being. So we have to keep discovering, keep exploring, keep researching, keep investigating these higher parts of ourselves, these deeper parts of ourselves. And I know a lot of people who are watching this are very concerned about the state of the world with the wars and the economy, turbulence and all of that. And if we don't do the inner work, we're going to constantly be tossed around like a boat without a rudder on the sea. And with no means of navigating, because we have put our faith in the world out there, again in quotes. We put quotes around it because there's no actual proof that there is a world out there. We see a reflection of what's in our own consciousness when we look out into the world. And yes, there's a collective consciousness. But to change the collective consciousness, we really do have to start with ourselves. And this sounds like a broken record. Sounds like it's, been said by hundreds of teachers throughout the ages. Know thyself, Socrates, a 2-word teaching. Complete teaching in 2 words, know thyself. So keep it simple, know thyself, investigate what is in your subconscious, what is in your superconscious, how do you access the superconscious? And meditation, of course, is one of the ways to do that. Yoga, there's, the techniques we mentioned earlier, timeline healing, things like that. So come to workshops, learn a technique, do some Reiki, reconnection, whatever it is, and really start to develop your inner abilities that are, all of us are psychic, but we don't all have our psychic abilities activated. To activate means to put time, energy, focus, and attention to something. That's all it means to activate. So we need to activate these latent abilities within ourselves for the good of humanity, not for selfish purposes.
Thank you. Thank you for amazing and high quality information and valuable information that you share with us for free. And this is a reason that I want to thank you before you push the like button, share, and spread these messages, free, high quality information that Sal and Liviu shared with us. This is a way that you support me, you support us, and you support your brothers and sisters, your soul family that are here on planet Earth. Because as you know, social media looks. How long you look at a video, if you click on like or share, and if they see that you have interaction with this video, of course, they support us to spread and share this valuable information more and more to the world. And thank you for doing this. And your soul message?
My soul message, oh yeah. Get out of stagnation, get out of ignorance, get out of trying to find your happiness outside of you. Go within, and you know, you are always enlightened, but you don't know about it. So you must discover it. So if you want to discover who you really are, you must go within, not outside of you. So this is my message for now.
Thank you.
Sweet and simple.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day and enjoy your time here in Romania. And I hope you guys, we do our best to ask Sal to come to Romania as more as possible. And let's see what can we do to meet with him again here in Romania on another retreat. Thank you.
Well, it's been a pleasure. And so
Thank you.
thank you all for watching.